Ron Cubicardi says, how do you explain that you're a Camwhore to your kids? I think people would be surprised at how they do it. I don't know, but I would wager that today, once your kids are kind of old enough to understand like what that is, I think a lot of them just say, yeah, this is what mommy started doing, and it's why we go to Disney every year. I think that's what they do. I think they just tell them because they're gonna fucking find out. So the question is, when they're old enough to know, and I would assume that their logic would be, you know what? This is a very safe way for mommy to do this. And we get, it's how mommy puts food on the table. And so, I can do this and work from home and be with you and hang out all day and we can do fun trips, or I can go be a secretary and have people stare at my chest without paying me or whatever. Like, I think they probably these days are pretty straightforward with it. And that's hard for conservatives to reconcile, because conservatives get stuck in this mindset of, if I were showing my tits to the entire world, I would be ashamed. Like, and so therefore this person must be ashamed of what they're doing. And how could they possibly tell their kids and face them on a day-to-day basis? I think the answer is probably like, they just tell them, because to them, it's not abnormal. To the kid, it's not abnormal. Definitely to kids these days, the idea of a woman being naked on camera is only abnormal if you teach your kids that it's abnormal. Right now, if she's raising them in particular Christian communities, or if she says that doing all this is bad and then she has to do it, well, then there's going to be shame and all of that stuff built in, of course, right? If it's a contradiction to what they say is good. It's like if your mom's chain smoking and says don't smoke or you'll die, or they tell you over and over not to do weed and you catch them lighting up a bowl in the bathroom. Sure, that's a harder conversation, but this age, like, you got 16-year-old kids, you think they don't know that there's OnlyFans out there? Unless you teach them to care, they're not. It's normalizing. Again, I'm not saying that's good or bad or it just is. It's normalizing certainly amongst the next generation. Because Twitch normalized really quickly. And it used to be that if you told if your 70-year-old grandpa or whatever found out that you were wearing a bikini while bouncing on a ball playing Quake 2 on Twitch, what the fuck are you doing? Go get a job at the grocery store, you whore, right? I didn't fight no Vietnam for you. But now it's like, well, at least I'm not shoving things in my asshole, grandpa. Like, that's a good point. Plus, you got a high KDR on Quake 2. Good job. Almost as high as my KDR in NAM. And also, let's just be honest, money cures fucking near all questions about it. Why are you doing this? You notice I just bought a $2 million house? Cash. I got money left over. Oh. Yeah, you want to go to Greece, Grandpa? I know you've never been there. My tits will take you away. It's a powerful argument. That's why the normalization is occurring. That's on dudes throwing money at them. But people say the same thing to me. Do your kids know that you're on YouTube? It's like, well, yeah. They know what you do? Well, no. I tell them what I do is, adult content. It's not that kind, but it's like, there's words and topics and expressions that aren't child appropriate. It's not for you guys. You can't watch it. Eventually they're gonna, because they're gonna, like, that's just a reality. And do I care? Not really, because, I don't know. I watched rated R movies. If my dad was in a movie, my dad doesn't swear a ton, but if he was in a movie and he's like, fuck you, police, copper, piggy, blanket, and like shooting people and stuff in the movie, I'd be like, well, that's kind of cool. Like, I don't see that as a big deal, because I don't see Acting in movies with profanity and violence is a big deal. If my dad was in porn or something, we'd have a different conversation. But it doesn't matter. Like it's just a matter of degree and scale of weirdness, and it's generational. But talk to kids today and what they want to be. Almost all of them want to be some sort of content creator and influencer because that's what they like. We all wanted to be movie stars or like NASA scientists or whatever. It really depends when you grew up, but musicians, it's just eras of celebrity and status. There's going to be a bunch of girls who want to be OnlyFans stars because they get fucking rich fast if they get any notoriety at all. That'll, of course, level out as more and more dump into the field and it becomes harder and harder to distinguish yourself. You know, it's just market economics. But as long as guys are paying, you know, remember Amaranth was making $1.5 million a month. I don't know if she still is. That Black China chick, 20 million a month, something like that. Dude. Hey, mom, what should I do with my art degree? I don't know. Paint your tits or something. Like, Jesus Christ, I can't pay your doctor bills. Like, go work at Walmart. You can tell them that all day. But when their friend is like, yeah, my dad told me to work at Walmart, and instead I posted a picture of me taking off my bikini on Instagram, and I now have 1 million followers, and I just got ad deals for $50,000 per reel. Go work at Walmart, make $39,000 for a year of wanting to shoot yourself. Hans 1PK says, if you don't care if kids see, will Miss Raggeds be on Chatterbait to feed the family? No, I don't care if the kids see me when they're old enough making an ass of myself on camera or drinking or like saying a bunch of racially charged jokes or insensitive comments. That is the part that doesn't bother me. But like, I'm not on OnlyFans. That would bother me. That's the limit that I think for me is where I'm like, I don't want my kids to do this. I'm also not going to do that. Like that, to me, that's not, again, that's consistent. But before YouTube existed, when I was a kid, and then when I was a young adult, I wanted to be an entertainer. I watched comedians with very foul mouths, very dirty jokes, and found them great and very entertaining. So just because I do that in a different format than stand-up comedy or like shitty Norm Macdonald movies that I love very much, like just because I can do it here versus there, I mean, to me, that's the same thing. It's just a different medium. Now, when I was growing up, like you could also be in porn, but I was never going to do that. That was not my lot in life. I have, I have family long before Lady Rackets where that would not be acceptable. Never would be acceptable. And I don't want my kids doing that either. So while I don't have a problem with people doing this stuff, you know, my family and how we raise our kids, that would be off limits for us. And if any of our kids got involved with that, you know, we would definitely speak our minds about it. And you never know how things will work out, but discouraging that behavior in various ways would be the goal, right? But who knows? Hopefully I don't have to fucking deal with that. God, what a nightmare. But no, as for me, like, I don't care that my kids will see me, but I haven't done anything that ridiculous. Sure, there's bad moments here and there, but bad moments are part of life. And so, you know, again, when they're old enough, okay. Because guess what? They'll go through the same shit that everybody talks about online. And they'll have to deal with that. They already know their parents aren't perfect people. And your kids all know this. I hope everybody realizes your kids know you're not perfect. That's the beauty of kids is they love you even through all of that, which is cool. Because you have to love them while they're assholes. Like it's a give and take there. But I do think there's this culture of people who go, oh, imagine having to tell this or explain this to your kids. It's like that next generation doesn't care like you care unless you make them care that way.